It's election season, and we're meeting with the candidates for the Abington Board of Selectmen. I'm Rick Collins with Abington News. Joining us today is Alex Bezanson, candidate for the Board of Selectmen. Hi, Alex. How are you?
Great, Rick. Thank you.
You are someone that a lot of people in town already know. You are a current member of the Board of Selectmen. Why do you want to run again? And tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I think, first of all, my background, I am currently chairman of the Board of Selectmen. I'm also chairman of the opioid fund distribution committee, and that's, as you know, the money that the town's receiving from the opioid manufacturers. I've been on the Conservation Commission, I've been a water commissioner, I founded the HUG Foundation, and I founded Abington Substance Awareness Coalition, which is now Abington Copes. And I want to run one more time just to continue some of the good things that this board and myself and the town manager have done. We've got a great board now. We work well together, and we've gotten a lot accomplished.
What are some of your priorities for another term?
Well, I think first and foremost, I'd like to see this developer at the base succeed. I think this is our last best hope. If he doesn't succeed, that group doesn't succeed, nobody will. We've purchased quite a bit of land in the last couple of years. I'd like to create a town forest that would go from the town hall out to Rockland Street, and we own all that land in between. I'd like to see the department heads and the town manager continue to seek the grants they've been getting. I think we've gotten more grants in the last 3 years than we've ever gotten. And part of my campaign last time when I ran was to hire a grant writer. But as it turns out, the department heads have been doing a great job at doing that, and we do have a subcontract that we've used. But the grants are really saving the town a lot of money, so I want to continue that.
I've had a number of grants in the past couple of years.
A lot of grants, and I can't even name them off the top of my head, but little things from the flags you see around town, Welcome to Abington, to the new bike lane and sidewalks that's going to go down Washington Street.
Fire apparatus.
I mean, it's been unbelievable. Everybody has really stepped up and doing a great job. I'd like to see recreation developed on Glenowitz Way, whether it's basketball, street hockey, pickleball, volleyball, but I think that's a perfect spot for it.
This is the acre-and-a-half strip as you drive up Glenowitz Way?
On the right-hand side, yes, after the real estate office.
Okay.
And I definitely want to see if we can find some land to develop some affordable senior housing. So those are some of my goals going forward.
All right. Now, you are someone who has been in town for a number of years, almost 40 years?
Yeah, almost 40 years, yeah.
So the town has changed. Do you feel it's changed for good, for bad? You hear, from different ways, from different sides, but how do you feel the town has changed?
I think the town is doing great right now. I think, like any town, it goes through phases. When some things are good, some things aren't so good, but we've got a great town manager now, great Board of Selectmen, great department heads, and I think things are just in sync. And we came out of COVID better than we were before. And I just want to continue that. I think we've got a great thing going, and I just want to be part of the continuation.
Now, towns that don't change or evolve, that tends not to be a great, healthy thing. So, of course, Abington has evolved over the years and will continue to likely. What is a direction that would cause you to have concern to think, oh, maybe this isn't a direction Abington would want to move in?
Well, I don't know. I think things are going smooth. I think our crime rate is down. We definitely need to hire more police officers. Things are going smoothly at the police station now. Things are going great at the fire department. DPW needs more help, but overall, I think things are good. I mean, obviously, everyone complains about taxes, but if you want to have the things we have in town, you need to spend the money. And the other thing with the taxes is our home values are more than surrounding towns. And we said that would happen when we built the new school.
Right.
Because people want to be here because we have a beautiful $90 million school. And we have a lot of programs for the kids. And I think that's why there's a demand for houses in Abington, and that increases the property taxes.
Well, let's talk about the tax base for a little bit. One of the issues the town has is that its commercial tax base has shrunk in relation to the residential base. I think it's now under 8% of the total tax base.
Right.
What that means is that homeowners tend to pay more of the property taxes. What is a plan that you might have to start to increase the town's commercial tax base?
Well, as you know, at the recent town meeting, we've budgeted for a town planner. We need to get Route 18 developed with commercial property. We've been saying that for many years. Now that Route 18 has been widened, we need to develop that. That will help our commercial base. The Navy base, Union Point, they need to have flex zoning so they can develop commercial, they can develop residential, they can develop a mix in there if they need be. And I think between developing Route 18 and whatever happens at the base, I think that's going to help our commercial base. And at some point, maybe if we have enough commercial, then we could go with a split tax rate. But just so the people know, and you know, a split tax rate does not mean that the businesses, you know, you're still paying your share of the taxes, you know. It's just shifted. We're not going to get more money. It's just shifting more of the burden on businesses. And when you're trying to develop an area like Route 18 or Union Point with a split tax rate, we're not going to attract the businesses.
Right. I believe there's almost as much underdeveloped land, and I use underdeveloped versus developable land because not all empty, north of, for instance, the Ale House, as there is at Union Point.
Right.
Which kind of shows you just how much of an opportunity is there.
There's a huge opportunity. The board and I have discussed, you know, we would love to get a chain restaurant in there, or any good commercial-based business that would be a good employer for the town of Abington. We have, the road's been done, we have the space. Abington should be open for business. The problem we have is the water.
Right.
And Union Point's working on that, our water department's working on that, so hopefully we'll have a resolution to that within the next year or so.
Let's talk about Union Point for a minute. We have a new developer in there. This is a third or fourth one in the past 10 years, and it hasn't gone as smoothly as people certainly would hope, but the new developer has a pedigree that seems to bring success with it between Westwood Station, Pine Hills, a few other things. But as you mentioned, they're looking to redo the zoning for the area, to have it a little bit more flexible so that they can respond to market conditions. Do you feel that's a good approach for that area?
I think that's our only approach. If town meeting doesn't vote to allow them flex zoning, that will never be developed. This is our last best hope. This is a combination of two well-known companies that have a great track record, Pine Hills, Westwood Station, as you mentioned, and others. If they can't do it, nobody's going to be able to do it, and they can do it. We just need to give them the flexibility that allows them to do it right.
When the town last adopted a zoning change up there, I believe 7 or 8 years ago, the town said we don't want residential development, we want it all commercial on Abington's portion of land. It seems like they're requesting that that's going to be changed. Are you comfortable with having residential development up there on Abington's portion?
I would like to see residential, but I would also like to see some commercial up there. I'd like to see a combination of both. I think we have to, again, give the flexibility to the developer and do what he sees fit. Develop it so that the commercial companies will want to go in there. You drive through there now, there's very little commercial in there. So to build more in Abington doesn't make sense now because the buildings will sit empty. They need to develop it under their plan, which will be a combination of everything and which will be dictated by the market. And that's what the flexibility we need to give them.
So speaking of businesses in Abington, over the past couple of years, we've seen some longtime Abington businesses close. We saw Bemis, the Depot, Pool Place, and the Christmas store. a couple others. Do you think that there's an issue in Abington that needs to be addressed regarding small businesses, or are these more just macro issues that we just have to weather like everybody else?
I think that it's a combination of things. I think the depot, she was there for many years and she decided to retire. The same with the pool place. Bemis, the same with Bemis. We have a lot of older businesses in town also. So, you know, these people are getting up there in age and they want to enjoy their retirement. And those are three businesses, and that's what happened there. Hopefully, all three of those spots will be redeveloped. The depot is coming to the Board of Selectmen for their liquor license.
A new owner, operator.
New owners there, and hopefully they'll be open soon. It would be great to see something great up at the pool place and the Christmas tree place. And Bemis, Senator John Keenan has given us an earmark, $100,000 to help develop improve downtown. Hopefully we can work with a developer on Bemis's building and do something down there with them.
Is there anything else the town should be doing to help either support existing businesses, prevent others from having to close, or do you feel that we're doing what we can?
I don't think we're doing everything we can. I've spoken to the town manager about bringing back the Abington Business Association that we had several years ago. And we're looking into seeing if we can find that list, and we're going to try and start that up again. They were meeting once a month at the Ale House or at the depot or somewhere, and I think that's a great way to find out what the needs are of the business. And we spoke about that recently at an ARPA funds committee that I'm on also, is how can we help the businesses stay in Abington, improve their businesses, and improve the look of their businesses. Right. So we are working on that.
At the annual town meeting, Congressman Lynch had a line about you can tell the values of a town based on how it treats its youth, how it treats its seniors and other populations. How do you feel Abington is doing treating some of those, providing those social services?
I think Abington's doing great. As I said earlier, I think that's a reason why a lot of people want to move to Abington, which is increasing the home values. I think one big issue we have with the seniors is we need to find more affordable senior housing. And that's definitely on my agenda over the next 3 years. And we are working on a few things that I really don't want to reveal right now because it's in with our town council, but we'll be coming out with that, and I think we'll be able to come up with some senior housing.
A generation or so ago, maybe 2 generations at this point, there used to be federal grants or state grants to build senior housing. Is that no longer an option?
I'm not aware of it.
Yeah. Okay.
I think what happens is the population is getting older, and every town, not just Abington's, looking for that, and the federal government just can't afford it either.
Right.
So we have to come up with public-private partnerships, I think, to do some of this.
One issue in town that you've been involved with lately, and for disclosure, I've been helping you with this, is addressing safety concerns with the railroad, where Abington has the most grade crossings and by far the most accidents.
Right.
You want to talk a little bit about how
Sure.
we were trying to do with that?
So back when I was on the board from 2015 to 18, we had, at that time, a lot of incidents on the track. So I reached out to the MBTA to come before the Board of Selectmen and discuss some of these concerns. And as you know, it took us about a year to get them, and it took Senator John Keenan to finally get someone before the board. And they did come before the board, and we told them we wanted them to look at the possibility of quad gates. And quad gates are gates that would come down on all 4 sides of the street, not just the way the traffic is headed, as we have now with 2 of them.
So you can't dodge around the gates.
Exactly. And several of these incidents that we've had is because of that.
Right.
So we wanted that. We wanted them to look at, do the trains really need to go 70 or 72 miles an hour? And we wanted them to look at not the possibility, we wanted a sidewalk gate down by the senior center on Summer Street where there isn't one. They said they would get back to us, and I got off the board in 2018, didn't get back on until 2020, and they never followed up. So when I got on the board in 2020, I started talking to Scott about this again. And in the last year or so, we started looking into some possibilities. And since then, we've had a couple more tragedies on the track. So what we're doing now is we're meeting with some state officials. We're meeting with Congressman Stephen Lynch is aware of what we're doing. And the town has hired our own consultant to look into all the crossings in town and see if they had some suggestions. And they have come up with some issues, and the Board of Selectmen will be discussing that at a future meeting. With those suggestions, we're going to compile a letter that we're going to send to the MBTA and hope that, you know, we can get someone down here and get some of these issues addressed. Like you said, we've had more incidents on this line than any town. We've had 18 out of 30 on the Kingston line, and 10 of them have been between North Ave and Birch Street. So that tells me, and that tells any reasonable person, there's an issue between North Ave and Birch Street.
Right. So, you know, this isn't a situation where trains are derailing or jumping off the tracks and striking people. These are people who are taking turns down the tracks, the wrong turns down the track, or gone around gates or whatever. Why is it essential that we fix, you know, what essentially are human errors?
Well, because we need to make it harder for people to make those errors. And by extending the fences on Railroad Street, possibly putting guardrails around the corners, doing quad gates, it's going to be harder for people to make a mistake and get on the tracks.
Okay. One of the issues that the town has been really kind of popping up the past couple of years is this debate over preserving open space versus developing it. Do you think the town is striking the right balance between how we're preserving open space and what we're allowing to, you know, remain in private hands or get developed?
I think so, and that has been a big push that the Selectmen directed the town manager about 2 years ago. We want to revitalize the Open Space Committee. We want to get that plan completed, which will open up grants to us. And if a parcel becomes available and it fits in with our plan, we need to purchase it, which we did on Orchard Lane. And that was, I think, about 9 acres. And it sits right in the middle of the land between Town Hall and the land that goes out to Rockland Street. And we were able to purchase that at town meeting, and it was a unanimous vote to purchase it last year. Now that gives us all the land between Town Hall and Rockland Street, which would make a great town forest with trails and bike trails and walking trails. So that's what we're going to work on over the next couple of years.
It's probably not feasible for the town to buy all open land that's available?
Absolutely not.
What's kind of the decision in your head when it's appropriate versus when it isn't?
Well, like this one was appropriate because it fits right in between 2 pieces that we already owned. Just to purchase land just for the sake of purchasing it, I don't see a benefit to the town. There is some land in town that should be developed. We want to develop commercial land and some of this land, and even small subdivisions and things. We need those to thrive as a town. So I think we have to look at each parcel of land individually and see if it fits into our plan. And, you know, we had a resident donate some land that is down in the Beaver Brook area. So we took that as a donation. That won't be developed. It's things like that that's going to benefit the town, that maybe connects to other land in the town. But just to purchase an acre of land in the middle of nowhere, I don't see the benefit to the town for that. But certainly if the resident wants to donate it, we would take it.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
The next big project for the town is a joint fire station and DPW complex. And they're finishing up their work. The word is that there's going to be a potential vote at a special town meeting this fall.
Right.
The price tag's significant. It's about $58 million at this point. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, we definitely need it. There's no doubt we need it. The problem is it's $58 million. Yeah. We're hoping to get it down around 50, But it's like we said with the school when that finally passed, we'd been talking about doing a new school for 10 years. Had we done it 10 years earlier, it wouldn't have cost $90 million. Mm-hmm. We have to do a fire station, we have to do a DPW building, and we are going to do it at some point. If we wait, it's only going to cost more.
Is there a way of doing it so that the full burden isn't going to be on the tax bill? Are there grant opportunities? Are there other financing ways of doing this?
I think they are looking into grant opportunities, and they've spoken to Stephen Lynch about that also. I'm not sure there are. It's not like the school when the state pays 50% of it, but that would be great if they did. I did hear that there's some rumbles in Congress about possibly doing something like that in the future, but I don't think it's anytime soon that's going to come down the pike. You know, they've given us a lot of ARPA money and CARES Act and stuff, and there's only so much money there. I think the town might have to bite the bullet on this one.
Okay. So if you move the town's emergency response headquarters to that roadway, a lot of the vehicles are going to be going up Central and having to take a left or right onto Washington, which is the town's, I believe, oldest residential corridor. Mm-hmm. Do you have concerns with how that's going to impact quality of life in that area?
Well, I mean, you have the station over on Rockland Street. Yeah, I'm sure the people that are living in that area won't be happy with it, but it's really the only spot we have in town to do it. Hindsight's 2020. I wish we had worked out a deal with Cape Cod Lumber way back when. Mm-hmm. I think that would have been the ideal spot for it. I'm not sure if everyone feels that way, but I think it would have been. And but that didn't happen. So we looked at North School. We actually sent letters out to everyone that owns large parcels of land in town and asked if anyone was interested in selling the town land, and nothing came up. Mm-hmm. So
nobody responded saying we're looking to sell.
No. So I think that is the best spot for it. The fire department seems happy with it. Mm-hmm. DPW seems happy with it, and I think we need to let them decide. They're the ones that are operating those departments.
Okay. As we start to wrap up, is there another topic that you'd like to mention or revisit?
Well, I think some of the highlights of my 6 years as a selectman, you know, I worked with another selectman, and we formed the dog park committee, and we built the dog park with grant money. I've been a very proactive selectman. And I've said this many times, I just don't go to the meeting every 2 weeks and sign documents or vouchers. I'm actually busy. I talk to the town manager at least once a day. If I come up with something, a resident reaches out to me. I think we need proactive people, and I think we need people with proven track record. And this current Board of Selectmen has a proven track record. As they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
All right. Thank you very much. Election Day is going to be on Saturday, April 29th. Voting will take place at the Beaverbrook Elementary School. Don't forget, it's your civic duty to go out and to vote. Early voting and absentee ballots are now available at Town Hall through the Town Clerk's office. Alex, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you to ACAM.
Right.